So for this vlog, we're going to be talking about our ghost hunts on Friday the 18th and Saturday the 19th of September.
Which was Michelle's third weekend up with us there at the hotel. It was the weekend after our last vlog.
It was a pretty great weekend. We had really great groups and, you know, a lot of diversity in the groups, but I think it kind of helped out with the activity.
It's been pretty active. It wasn't quite as active as the weekend of September 12th, but we definitely have some new appearances that we're continuing our investigation on.
So after the investigation on September 18th, on that Friday night, Karl, Connor, and I were in the basement around 2:40 a.m. We were wrapping up the night, and I went upstairs to kind of clear the stage area, and we weren't alone. We still had 3 investigators up there. It was a group of girls. They were super nice, but they said, "Michelle, come here. We're getting these weird interactions on the spirit box telling us to go away and get out." And of course I said, "Oh, that's gotta be Paul."
Are you protective of that little room over there? Leave.
Paul, of course, is our old security guy slash maintenance man who worked at the hotel throughout the 1990s. And he passed away as recently, we think, as 2005.
So I decided to tell Paul, "Hey, I'm an employee, it's fine." And then we got a response through the spirit box that said, "You tell him."
Paul, I'm new, but I'm an employee here. I'm allowed to be here. So you can yell at them.
You can kick us out.
There he was. That's Paul.
What did he say?
I don't know, but it's just the tone.
Tell them?
So right then I went down and I got Karl and Connor and I said, "Hey guys, you gotta come check out this activity." But sure enough, as soon as they got up there, it stopped. And I think that's because Paul knows, oh, Karl and Connor are here, it's fine, they'll take care of things.
Paul doesn't ever really show up when I'm in the room. And I think it's the same way with Karl. Because I think he recognizes us. I've been working there for almost 4 years now. So he realizes that I'm allowed to be in the building late at night.
During the investigation on September 19th, that Saturday night, I was down in Lucy's room and people's legs started getting touched. And it started off with this college girl and she was really startled. It really kind of freaked her out. And then it started kind of going around the room. And what's weird is just a couple weekends before that, we had someone get their leg grabbed.
You're fine.
Holy shit. Oh my god, I'm sorry I just cussed mom, but oh my god.
What happened?
Someone just grabbed my leg. And I tried to pull away because I thought it was just something, and it kept pulling,
Oh my gosh.
It's weird how it's becoming a pattern in Lucy's room because I feel like maybe it's a new spirit, or is it Lucy kind of finding another way to get, in touch with us?
So I started in Lucy's room with my group on Friday night while Michelle and Connor went upstairs to the balcony with the first group for them as well. And it was interesting. We all kind of nice fight over Lucy's room because that's one of our favorite rooms. But one of the things that started going on in Lucy's room was a little bit curious. It maintained that trend of the geophone going off on the table that was in Lucy's room. And that was really interesting because, again, like we mentioned, I think in the earlier vlog, that doesn't happen very often. The geophone as a communication device, very, very rare. So to have it go off multiple weekends in a row is definitely a bit of a unique twist. But also in terms of rarity, we give out about 8 K2 meters amongst all 20 of our guests or so. They share them throughout the night, they use them. We give a little spiel about how they work ahead of time. But one of the things about the K2s, there's so many man-made signals set those things off. But what's curious that night though is there was some stuff that seemed to be setting those off that I couldn't really figure out what it might have been. One of the techniques that we've started to use lately is that the K2 meters that are relatively close to each other, if it's just a regular signal going through the room, both of them should probably light up. So what's curious is when they might light up independently of each other, and it started to happen that night. It was on a relatively kind of consistent pattern of time, so that kind of makes me wonder. But it was very strange that one would go off, the other would go off. We tried to establish some communication, didn't quite work, but it was more than the general cell phone signal just setting it off. So that was sort of something curious that we were chewing on too.
Another thing that's been continuing efforts, and we've been getting this new spirit coming across. We've been trying to figure out who it is. I think that there is a new spirit in the women's restroom. We used to consider the basement concert hall women's restroom sort of Lucy's little hiding spot. Lucy doesn't like Eddie, who's another one of our resident spirits there, or at least we don't think she does. It's a weird job. We have ghost drama and everything. And so I think she would hang out in the women's restroom. However, more frequently, we've been getting some flashlight interaction in the women's restroom and some other audible noises. And we started getting a name coming across on the spirit box in that restroom finally. And the name sounded like it was Helen or Ellen. And so we're going to continue using that name and seeing if it keeps showing up. Maybe it was just sort of a drive-by hello, just a one-night stop for this spirit, who knows. But, we were getting that name over and over again. So something to try to figure out.
So thanks for checking out this vlog this week. We're a little bit behind right now, but we're starting to burn through a couple of weeks for you guys. So stay tuned later this week for the posting of what happened the following weekend, which was definitely one of the weirdest that we've had up here at the Stanley. The 7th?
25th. That's a 2 and a 5.
And
In touch. Get it? Someone else's turn.